Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a report from Prothena Corporation. Get ready for a roller coaster of stock options and shareholder votes because that's what this report is all about. Prothena just had its annual shareholder meeting. The big news? They're upping the number of shares available in their long-term incentive plan. This is basically a way for the company to reward employees, especially executives, with stock. It sounds simple, but there's more than meets the eye. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, if you find value in decoding these corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below. Join us there to discuss these filings with other investors. So back on May 13th, Prothena held its annual meeting where shareholders got to vote on some key issues. One of the biggest things they voted on was an amendment, which is basically a change to their long-term incentive plan. This plan is called the 2018 Long-Term Incentive Plan. This plan is called the 2018 Long-Term Incentive Plan. This plan is called the 2018 Long-Term Incentive Plan. This change means they're increasing the number of company shares that can be given out as rewards. How many more shares are we talking about? The shareholders approved the company to add 2,000 ordinary shares to the plan. Essentially, they're giving themselves the ability to issue 2 million more shares as incentives. If you want to read the full story, it's all there in the document. The proxy statement is like a detailed explanation for shareholders about what they're voting on. Now, let's talk about the other stuff that went down at the shareholder meeting. There were several proposals voted on, meaning decisions, and here's how they all shook out. First up, the election of directors. Shareholders voted to keep Paula Cobb, Lars Ekman, and Gene Kinney on the board of directors. They'll be sticking around until the annual meeting in 2028. Digging into the numbers, Paula Cobb got 46,937,071 votes in favour, meaning for her, with only 6,517,880,47,417 at 47,417, and you all had 37,417 847,417 845 votes for, and 9,688,926 6,607 against. Gene Kinney had 37,417,845 votes for and 9,688,926 6,575. Next, shareholders voted on who should handle the company's accounting. They agreed with the company's pick of KPMG as the independent accounting firm for the year. They also agreed that the company's board of directors should get to decide how much KPMG gets paid. The vote was overwhelmingly in favour, with 50,252,343 votes for it. There were only 58,051 against and 14,481 abstaining, which is when someone doesn't vote. Then there was a vote on how much the company's top executives get paid. This is a non-binding advisory vote, meaning the company doesn't have to follow what the shareholders say, but it's a good way to gauge how people feel. In this vote, 34,696,557 voted for the compensation, while a pretty big number, 11,221,019 voted abstained. So while the majority approved, there's clearly some disagreement on executive pay. Finally, let's circle back to the big one, the amendment to the incentive plan. This is where they asked shareholders to approve adding those 2,000 extra shares for employee rewards. The shareholders approved this change with 31,061,458 voting for it. However, there was significant opposition with 14,862,524,524,524,5 chunk of shareholders had concerns about it. So now, what does this all mean for Prothena? Increasing the number of shares in the incentive plan could be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can motivate employees by giving them a stake in the company's success. It helps attract and keep talented people. On the other hand, it can dilute the value of existing shares, meaning each share is worth a little less because there are more of them floating around. The fact that a significant number of shareholders voted against both the executive compensation and the incentive plan amendment suggests that there might be some unhappiness with how the company is managing its resources and rewarding its leaders. The amount of shares issued does represent money that shareholders will not get. From all the votes that passed, the only thing the shareholders opposed was how the top executive officers were being compensated. This may trigger a lot of alarm bells for people that are going to invest in the company, as it appears that the common man is not getting the recognition they deserve. Prothena Corporation is a company that is in the research and development stage. They are betting that their current bets pay off. So far, shareholders approve, but they are also showing some concern, so keep an eye on this company. There might be turbulence ahead. Alright, that's our breakdown of Prothena's latest shareholder meeting and its implications. What do you think about this decision to increase shares? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.